which means even after 2 years, the world hasn't been able to come together on one single platform to say, get rid of Hamas. There can be no room for terror. There has to be zero tolerance for terror.
And zero tolerance for civilian killing.
The tragic loss of civilian life in the last 2 years is absolutely horrific. There can be no two stands on that. The fact is that Hamas launched a unprecedented, brutal attack only against civilians on that fateful day. Nearly 5,000 rockets were fired. 3,000 Hamas armed fighters crossed the border, committed unspeakable atrocities, and took away people, and many of them are still in confinement. Israel has responded. Obviously, the power differential between Israel as a nation state and the Hamas as a terrorist organization was always imbalanced. It has retaliated in the same manner that the United States wiped out whatever Pakka construction existed in Afghanistan or attacked Libya. But let's also focus on what are the objectives of a nation state when it defends its people and sovereignty and borders versus what an armed terror group did.
Okay.
Did Hamas expect this kind of response? They have to answer. And one final point, Gaurav, our humanity and the concern for so many people, thousands and thousands of people dying subsequently should be most important. But there's a big question. Had the Hamas released the hostages, including the young ones among the hostages, including the women, including those who had been injured, raped, defiled, whatever else, had they released them, perhaps many thousands of lives in Gaza could have been saved.
Anisha?
That's a hypothesis.
But the
There is
point
no
is,
guarantee there.
no, but the point is, why would we want to give any leeway to a terrorist organization like Hamas, anyone across the world?
Nobody's
May I
Why isn't the world
But
uniting to
in
say Hamas disarm now? What Donald Trump is saying finally now.
There have been attempts to solve this Palestine-Israel issue for decades. This is
Yes.
not a new thing. Yes, the current war is 2 years old.
Yes.
The actual conflict is about 100 years old.
Sure.
Let's remember that. There have been multiple instances of attempts to sort it out. There have been multiple agreements, accords, conventions, what have you. What, however, right now you also need to remember is that when Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu sit down and say Hamas must disarm, they're not even talking to the Palestinian Authority. The so-called government of Palestine that was
They're not in the
created
room.
for the civilians to help the people to actually run a government, they're not even talking to them. Who exactly are Trump and Netanyahu coming to an agreement with? Hamas, let's face it, is a terrorist organization.
Why have
The
you
people-
undermined the Palestinian Authority?
That's exactly what I'm saying. You are not talking to the Palestinian Authority. You are not talking about the civilians. You are actively stopping any and all humanitarian aid from entering. You are actively stopping the flotillas which are carrying medicine and food for children from entering the place. Are you seriously telling me that by creating this kind of absolute horror and violence, you expect that whoever is left standing in that devastated, bombed out crater will want to go for peace with you? Does that really actually work?
So,
Does
Yasha?
anybody expect that to happen?
There are no two ways as far as the trust deficit is concerned, and it is on both sides, needless to say. There are again no two ways about the fact that this is a conflict that is not 2 years old. It actually ranges into hundreds of years, and that is where the problem primarily stems from. But again, we are talking today on the 7th of October, and I'm sure all of us had broken hearts when we saw those pictures of what happened at the music festival, and when those people were scrambling, running from one corner to the other. More than 1,200 people died, 250 hostages. Again, I want to raise the point that he did. That fact also remains that in the 2 years, the negotiations that have happened, those hostages have still not been released, and many of them have also died. And coming to your point of how the people are not being taken into account when it comes to all these negotiations that are happening, there was a 3-phase ceasefire that was announced from January 19 to March 18, 2025, this year.
Yeah.
But that failed, so much so that the civilians were happy that things have started settling down and they had even started clearing the rubble. But
So-
that again,
I don't think
that
you're-
again
the
was
point is,
I don't think you're-
because,
I don't think you're making a
because
distinction
then
between
the Hamas
West Bank-
again
No, so right now we're talking about Gaza, and I
point
want
is
to
that-
sincerely.
then she's got the facts wrong.
No,
I
wait.
just wanna
I am
conclude.
talking about
I
Gaza
just
for a
wanna
moment.
conclude.
Yes.
she's
that
talking
as far
about
as
West Bank.
Trump's plan is concerned, needless to say, Hamas obviously has to disarm. And again, Netanyahu has made a statement saying that, with Trump's plan of rebuilding Gaza, how we will de-radicalize people, and this whole point of making it conducive for the people.
The problem
Again, the
there
trust
is also-
deficit
Can I
is
just say
Netanyahu
something?
and
I was
Netanyahu
in
again
shock
not agreeing
I
to
was
it.
in
is
shock
not
on
backing
7th
out.
October 2023 and have been in shock ever since, every day since then. My heart bled on the 7th of October and every day since then it's been bleeding. Because if you don't see the visuals and if it does not hit you what's happening to children in Gaza, then there's a problem. As journalists, we have to look at what's happening on the ground. Collateral damage and the disproportionate way in which the response has been has to be accounted for.
What's the way forward, Pranay? Because, Geeta and I have also reported from there, as have many of us. What I want to understand is if Hamas is hiding in an underground bunker, okay, using civilians as hostages,
Hospitals.
under
The way they were
hospitals,
hiding
how
veterans,
does
they were
the
hiding
Israeli
there.
security forces, how do they carry out an operation without there being collateral damage? They're actually issuing notices saying, leave this area.
Collateral
leave
damage,
the-
which has led
leave
to the
this-
biggest
Well,
humanitarian
they are not,
crisis.
no, they might say leave this area, they're not allowing them to leave.
Okay.
They're
um,
not allowing
have
people to
leaflets-
leave.
leaflets-
You're not
Stopped,
allowing
you
people
have
to leave
children
where,
being shot
where
at.
young children don't have food to eat. You've
You've
created a
shut the
famine.
gates.
You've shut the gates, you've created a famine, and
You're
yes, what
really
happened on
shooting
7th
people.
October was terrible. And
It is
I till
terrible.
date, it
It's
gives me
the
goosebumps
worst
too.
thing.
I still remember that picture of that young girl who was pulled away on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
It still gives me goosebumps. I think most of us.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But, the rest of, there are so many people who might call it bleeding hearts, but with what Geeta said,
But Preeti,
if you do
for
not,
long,
if you
Gaza
do not
has remained an
accept it,
open prison. This is the irony. This
how
has
are we
remained
then?
a-
Exactly.
So
therefore,
who's interested in solving the problem? Is it the Gaza peace
One
plan
second.
is only...
Pranay, all I'm
Yeah.
talking about is in the last 2 years, if any of us is going to sit here and defend what is going on right now in Gaza, whether you call it bleeding heart or inhuman, this is genocide.
So
This
we are
is
trying
genocide.
to figure out.
Please accept it.
We are trying to figure out a way forward. Is everyone on the same page here? At least that Hamas needs to go. Terror cannot be a road to solution.
Absolutely.
Whether it's Hamas,
Absolutely.
Hamas there or Lashkar-e-Taiba here.
I
My
Okay.
point
agree
is
with
different that
what
if
you're
you are looking at a long-term solution, are we looking at a long-term solution or with this Gaza peace plan, are we going to get a long-term solution?
No,
Nobody has an
not
answer
at all.
because, look, you might have, like PIJ is already there. Palestine Islamic Jihad is already there. And there are many other organizations which still exist within the same community. How are you going to make that distinction? Nobody knows. Because it is so intertwined, it is so there that Hamas tomorrow, it might crop up because the same organization. It was
Hamas
PLO.
under another name.
Look, Gaurav, it was PLO. It used to be Yasser Arafat.
Yes.
Palestine Liberation Organization. They formed a political party. It became Fatah. Then someone, for their own political reasons, they propped up Hamas. Now Hamas became a villain.
Not
now
so
they
much.
want to.
There are
It's
so
a
many-
Benjamin
there's
Netanyahu.
Benjamin
absolute
Netanyahu.
clarity
Benjamin Netanyahu,
on
for
Yes.
a political reason. They
No, the
created it.
political reason
So-
was to undermine the Palestinian
Fatah.
They
Yeah.
want
Authority.
it. Look, it's the
Mahmoud
state,
Abbas, Abu Mazen.
state and non-state actors, the way the state play this game, then truth has always remained a casualty on a battlefield. See
Yes.
how they are peddling their narrative. Nobody knows, but is anyone seriously interested? I don't see a hope unless there is a proper representation. See the Arab world, how are they behaving? Look, the kind of pressure which was created on Benjamin Netanyahu to say sorry to Qatar, did they create similar kind of pressure for Benjamin
That's
Netanyahu to
America.
say...
What
But
explains
America's
that,
not
Maya,
doing
in
difference.
your view?
But
Let me